Okay, so we are back with we finished up session 7, 8, and 9. So we were talking about capturing the leads last time we were together, and this session is about following up and keeping the leads. And so I know a lot of you are already doing this, and some of you have great systems put in place for it. And while others are really just getting their business started or just realizing, hey, this is what I'm going to have to do because I thought these people were going to buy in 2 months, and they didn't buy in 2 months. So what do I do after the 2 months is over? Well, I got to just stay in touch with them. I got to put them into my database, put them into my cylinder, and then cultivate and communicate so that when they're ready to pop out and do business with me, I'm available. They know how to get me. And I have been reminding them all along the way of all the services that I provide. So that's the part of capturing the people and creating the leads, I find, is probably one of the more easy parts of our job. If you have if you're a natural networker, if you're a natural connector. If you're not, yes, that's probably one of the parts of the jobs, the lead generation, of finding leads. That's probably more difficult. So know what you have to focus on so that you can be more efficient with the business of generating leads, following up with them, and then closing them. So if you've got lots of leads and now you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do with all these people, I acquire them, they inquire on properties, they like my social media posts. It's my sister's friend who she told me to connect with her. Now I have her in my database. Now what do I do? Because this is going to be a lifelong relationship. You're asking them if you could stay in touch with them forever, and you could be the realtor of choice forever with all of their real estate needs and their family real estate needs. This is not just a transactional relationship. Please don't treat it that way. Go into it feeling as if you have the next 20 years of value to bring to them inside of the real estate industry and everything neighborhood, everything community. So, where we left off was also the reminder of when we're lead generating, there's so many different ways. There's seminars, there's geographic farms, there are open houses, social media. So there's so many places where we can get the leads. Reminding that the grocery store, the coffee shop, the repair shop, when you're sitting there waiting for your car, getting your hair done, those times are really great times to connect with the people around us. And then we made it very clear that there is a timeline, right? Everybody is going to move within 7 to 10 years. So to say I have no leads means you know no people. If you know people and they're in your database, you are going to have sales and opportunities. Are you going to be asking for them? So keeping every lead is session 10, and it starts the pillar of the lead follow-up. So it's keep every lead follow up with the leads, and then we roll into strengthening the relationships and pivoting to work with specifically buyers or sellers. So there are some really great questions. I want to go through the material quickly, and then I want to jump into the manual. And I want to remind you that this manual is inside of the student drive that I have created. And hold on, I'm echoing a little bit somewhere. If you could find that, Zenya. Okay, so I think you found it. This student drive here, I'm going to go ahead and share and copy the link and put it back in the chat, because inside here are the books. Inside here are some of the PowerPoints, the vision speech that Gary Keller puts out every year, which we're going to get a new one, and a page for the presentation. So there are some pieces in here, and somebody was asking me about the scripts. And when we look at the scripts, they are in the manual, but I've also popped them out here, and I called them Ignite Conversations, so that it's just 37 pages, but it's at the back of your material are scripts, and it goes to all of these different topics. So I really encourage you to dive in here and see about this language and how much of it you could adopt into your business. But we are going to pop into the manual, which, like I said, in the student drive, it is the student manual, and we are going to go into session 11 in the student manual. So let's just pop through a few here in keeping every lead. So in keeping every lead, what is lead follow-up? Like we said, 7 to 10 years, people are going to move. And if you see that peak, we have that one opportunity, but what about all along the way that they're not making a real estate decision? Are we sending them value, asking them for leads, asking them for referrals, educating them on how important referrals are? But the life of the lead is it will come around in 7 to 10 years. So I mean, I see so many agents that don't keep in touch with their past clients, and it is the biggest mistake in your business. If you plan on being in the business in 7 to 10 years, you have a whole nother round with these people, I promise you, if you follow up. It's a people business, the probable business, and it's a profitable business. Okay, it's going to happen. And if you're first or second in mind, you probably won't. If you're not first or second in mind, you're not going to get the business. Most people are not going to interview 6 and 7 agents. Okay, so you putting yourself in the way of the first or the second call, and then you being prepared to present is so important. And so when we talk about how to lead follow up, this goes to, we've seen this before, 19 to connect, 36 to convert. Okay. Your 19 doesn't have to look like her 19, but 19 to connect, 1 to cement, 36 to convert. So what does this look like? What does the 19 to connect look like?
Um,
Go ahead, Andrea.
oh, sorry. No, it's okay. Sorry. I wanted to mute myself. Sorry.
I got you. I'll mute you. Don't worry. So notice how if they're a lead or if they're a contact, they're both getting 4 calls. They're both getting 4 calls. If they're a lead versus a contact, one's getting 12 touches, the other's getting 26. We're just adding another 14 because now they're a contact, right? 2 promotional, an event. We don't have to change that up. The only difference is we might add another 12 touches, another 12 to 14 touches once we've got them in our world. But we don't have to overcomplicate it. The first pillar doesn't have to look different than the third pillar. It's the same 4 touches. It's just, are they a lead or are they a contact? Because if they're a contact, they're going to get 14 more touches, which might look like emails, text messages, or direct mail pieces. And I have to be honest with you, this would absolutely get the mind share, but half of it would also get the mind share. You know, people say this looks like a lot. It is a lot. But if you set the system up, not everybody's going to be paying attention to all of the same touches. Some touches are digital, some touches are video, you know, some might be text message. So when you are considering your lead follow-up program, you have to think about these questions. What are your strengths when you work with people? How can you adapt those touches to represent you? Like if for me, if I go to the local food bank and we do our charity giveaway, I'm doing that every single month. That's 12 touches. If I just make a post about it, if I share it out with everybody, hey, and I make sure, hey, I'm with KW, come on down, bring your toiletries, bring your you know, bring your giveaways, bring your, because we do a community feeding once a month called Selfless Saturday. That right there is 12 posts. That's 12 touches. It speaks about me. It's 80% personal, 20% business. I got my logo on, but it's all about what my passion is, which is to give back. That is might not be what Tina needs to do because that might not represent Tina. So that's where you really do need to see what are your strengths. If you're a great speaker, you are an educator, you love, you know, training. Maybe your thing is seller seminars, home ownership seminars, and you plan 12 a year and you go to the local library or a friend's restaurant or you know, somebody's front yard, to be honest, and you say, I'm going to put these seminars on and I'm going to advertise them, and there's 12 touches. Somebody on this call might say, I would never do that. Oh my God, I would like crawl into a shell. Like I could never. and you might have a different strategy. So what are some of the reasons I might be contacting the lead, right? You have product, you have education, you have volunteer opportunities. How am I using conversation to let the person know that I'm in real estate? So we always have to remember to integrate the fact that we can help with all real estate needs. That's what we do for a living. Hey, we don't have to say that's what I do full time. That's what I do for a living. I've expanded my business into real estate. I can service all your real estate needs. Oh, but I thought you work at da da da. Yeah, no, we have a fabulous team. So we all do, we're all specialties. We all have our specialties. So when is it best for me and my business to time block to lead follow up? If your sphere of influence are bartenders, waitress, like night staff, you're not going to be prospecting early in the morning to that sector of your database. They're probably I was one of those people. At 10 o'clock is when I was getting up because I had to be in the restaurant at 4. So, you have to think about when is it, if you have people that are in the office at 9, then maybe your follow-up is from like 7 to 9 in the morning. I know a few of you work very early in the morning. That's your thing. And it's wise. Miracle Morning is a great book by Hal Elrod, and it's about really owning that morning. And then how much time should you take to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? And what do I need to make sure this happens? Okay. So these are your best follow-up practices. It's not just put the person in the contact system and just let it flow. Put them on the smart plan and let it go. That is not gonna get you where you want to be when you're talking about creating a follow-up system. And yes, we have smart plans that will do lots of this, but you have to sit down and you could create your ultimate smart plan. You could create a smart plan that actually puts a reminder to call them 4 times purposefully inside of the plan. You're going to call them quarterly. So there'll be a 30-day delay, a text, a 30-day delay, an email, a 30-day delay, a phone call. You can literally set up your 19 to connect as a smart plan, and you'll just have task reminders when you have to make those phone calls or send those texts out, because of, they'll have to do some manual work there. But creating the plan is what is what is going to make an impact on the business. So your value proposition plus your personal communication and your stats and data, we always have to remember what's in it for them. People want to know, well, how is it going to benefit me? So when you're making your calls, when you're making your follow-up calls, and are they thinking about buying or selling? What are they thinking about in real estate for 2024? Do they have any real estate goals for 2024? Right? So on your post lead follow-up, when we understand that when you have a connection that goes 2 ways, where you call the lead and you actually have a contact, that becomes a contact. It goes into your database. Once you put it into the database, which is that funnel, that's where the relationship management is happening. And we are connecting and converting and cultivating. And then the goal is that those leads eventually give us referrals and their own business. And in following up with the leads, the most important thing is consistency. And having that plan, what I find is agents will cherry pick through who to follow up, or it's the same person you're following up with all the time. When maybe there's 10 other buyer leads that are in there, and you're like, well, they're not responding to me. Well, maybe it's your message. Own it. Maybe we need to say something different. Maybe we need a different method. Maybe it's not the message, maybe it's the method. If this is not happening and you're not able to connect and cultivate, to be honest, I would take them out of the database if at some point it becomes, unworn outfits that are sitting in the closet that are just really gonna just take up room. Because whether they costing you or something or not, they're in there and they're bringing your percentages down as to how do you cultivate and what kind of percentage you get out of your database. And not that that's the most important thing, but we all like to feel like we're winning. And as a real estate agent, a lot of the game is keeping us motivated to keep going. That when the rejection is high in a week, we know that next week it's going to be better. we know that the next conversation could be a yes. Eventually it will be a yes. But the truth is we're going to get 100 no's before we get 2 or 3 yeses. So you have to have some thick skin with this. Okay. And how to convert that lead to an appointment. Here is where I would like to pop out to the manual for a second. When we're capturing the information, here's some language. If I were to need to contact you, what number would that be at? What's the best number? If I found exactly what you're looking for, how would I contact you? If I found out that information you want, how would I get it to you? What's the best way to get it to you? Okay, so there's some language in here that I really like. You can pop that out when you are lead generating. When you're connecting, listening, asking good questions. Do you have your list of questions? We're going to visit a list of questions in 1 second. But a list of questions that sits in front of you so that they never pull you off track. You are there to close for the appointment. You would like to book the appointment. You would like to meet them today, tomorrow, Saturday. Let's pencil that in. I'll follow up with you on Monday to ensure that that still works for you. But your goal is to get the appointment. It's not to sell over the phone. Clearly, if they're not here on the island, you do have to do a Zoom or something. But even the phone is not as impactful as a Zoom meeting if you had to have the Zoom meeting, if you had to do it virtually. So we are asking good questions. We are offering solutions. We're not just an order taker. We're not, oh, okay, oh yeah, okay. Interjecting with some of experience. Oh, what we've seen. I want you guys to embrace this. Feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. So when a customer tells you, I kind of feel like right now is not a good time to put the house on the market. I feel like, we're going to wait for the prices to drop. We're going to wait for the interest rates to drop. I feel like, well, I hear what you're saying. Validate it. Other people have felt like you. And here's what we've found. When you do make, right now while inventory is low, if you put that house on the market, it's like putting a house on a shelf that there's nothing on the shelf and everybody's going to grab for it. Right? So what we've found, because we have evidence, because we've seen it, but we recognize your feeling, and other people have felt that way. And here's what we've found. So in connecting and offering solutions, you don't want to jump down somebody's throat. No, that's not going to work. Now that guy put his house on the market and it sold yesterday. So come on, let's just put the house on the market. Validate what they're feeling. Connect with them. Don't shut them down. Keep the focus on the conversation about them. Okay, the goal of communication, adding and building relationships. We were talking in one of my offices the other day about building rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is building a sense of relationship where trust is at the foundation. That means that you can influence them. That's what you're looking to build. If you have to slow down and build with fewer than more and have deeper referral partners inside of your database, I would rather you do that than be a fast, just shooting through your contacts every day. Okay. Because it's going deep that is going to get you the business. So keep these connections, best practices in mind, embed your value proposition. I'll be at the office every day because I'm a full-time agent, so I'm always on it. Oh, you're a full-time agent? I didn't realize that. How would that benefit me? Well, because I'm always out previewing properties, and one of my biggest strengths is I'm a developer. One of my biggest strengths is I'm a builder. So I get to see the products before they even hit market. That's the way we're embedding that into a conversation. And then here are 6 connecting questions. This page right here, Xenia, Jill, this is 11.6 inside the manual. Like this, I believe, should be at the computer, should be at the phones. It should be there for people to grab and go if they need to stay on track. Who are they? What do they want, or what do they need? An example, back up, if you would, please tell me a little bit about yourself. What do they need? Thanks for sharing that. Now, if you would, please tell me, what do you do? Right? What do you want to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Thanks for sharing that. Now, if you would you share with me where you were thinking of moving? Well, we're not moving. Well, if you had to move, where were you going to move?
We do not.
right? Let them dream a little bit. If you had to move, where are you going to move? Why do they need to do it? Thanks for sharing that. Can you share with me why you're doing
No, I
this?
don't have it.
How, you know, what is the end goal?
I try to be a little bit, not loud.
And then when do you want or when do you need to do it by? Can you please share with me when you'd like to do this? And then how do you plan to do this? Because a lot of times, I've experienced that. Xenia, can we mute that? I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah, that's all.
But a lot of times, sorry, they have an idea of how they're going to do it, and it may not be including you. And if you don't go ahead and ask this, you would never know that you have competition or that they're thinking of selling it on their own. And now they're going to take your beautiful pictures that you just showed them and all of your stats, and they're going to make a nice marketing brochure from your stuff. So we also want to ask them, how do they plan on doing it? And a lot of times, if it's a seller, I would also say to them, did you have a price in mind? What were you thinking? You know, what were you thinking you could get for this? Has somebody talked to you about price? Because when you ask that, a lot of sellers will tell you, and then you'll go, oh, that's realistic, or oh, that's like totally out. And you'll know what you're dealing with, and you'll know now how you're going to have to tailor make that conversation so that you can get them priced where you need to price them so that they do what they want to do. You're not forcing anybody. They're asking you to, you know, service them. And sometimes we need to allow them to self-discover that the way they wanted to do it is not going to get them where they want to go. And with that, I will share, what we like to do is we'll take a listing, let's say, if the seller is not agreeing with the price suggestion that we just talked about, we may take their price suggestion, but we'll also go ahead and get a price adjustment dated for 2 weeks and have them sign it right there at the listing table. What we'll tell them is, go ahead, we'll do this for 2 weeks, 2 weekends. We'll have open houses. We'll do it your way. And then if it doesn't work and we don't procure an offer that's acceptable to you, we'll go ahead and move the price here, and we'll have them sign that agreement right there at the listing table so that we don't have to fight about it later. But, you know, knowing how they want to do it is really important. And then here's some of the connecting questions for buyers and sellers. What are you looking for in a dream home? Well, this isn't going to be my, well, but just dream with me a little bit. What's ideal for you? Oh, big kitchen or this and that, whatever. What happens if you can't find that house to buy? You know, what are their plans? Let them tell you there's really no option. We have to find a house. Or maybe they're like, well, if I don't find a house in 2 weekends, we're just going to go stay with my mom. And now, is that really an A buyer, right? Maybe it's an A buyer for 1 weekend, but you know, as their motivation starts going down, you got to shift yours also. Have you seen any houses you like? That's important because then they get to tell you if they're working with an agent, if they've put offers on properties. You'll get to know how much they know about the market. And this is all in the cultivating stage when you're talking with people about their ideas and asking them, if I put you in my database so that I could stay in touch with you and I could follow up. So when I follow up with you know, my buyers and they express, oh, we are thinking about doing that now at the end of the year, we're going to dive right into these questions. What's prompting you to move now rather than next year? Did you own the place where you're living now? Really important. How long have you been looking? What's the time frame you're looking to move? These are all great questions that you should just have printed out. And if somebody pulls you off and they start talking about, you know, the kids and the whatever, you can pull it right back. Well, how long have you been looking for a house? And sample questions for the seller. This is very important.
Can I add
Go
something?
ahead.
I think it's very
Yeah.
important for us because have you talked with a real estate agent about selling your current home? We forget that because if they have a home in the States, we can refer them to KW agents. We totally forget that question a lot of times. But what also is for us, it's very important if they are in contact with another buying agent. So sometimes we have clients, they had already contact with the big projects, you know, the open listing, Blue, Azure, or if you know upfront that they already had a meeting with them, they are registered there, then for us it has no use to show them listings there because the developer of Blue or the seller will say, okay, listen, no, we had already contact with them, they're in our system, you won't get any commission. So I think that question for us is very important, that you know if they are in contact with other realtors already, registered somewhere. If they are, and they have a bad experience with, say, Century 21, You have to have something on paper. Okay, listen, I want to see a house from 2021, but I want to especially work with you as my buying agent. It's a big thing in the Caribbean, I think, not only in Aruba, but Curaçao and Bonaire as well. Especially, I think in Bonaire, because on Bonaire, as you know, not all the selling agents, not all the realtors, they share commission. So you have to ask your buying agent for a commission. So maybe that's a thing as well.
Okay. Maybe Xenia, Jill, you can take this and you can edit some of these questions and make sure that we put some market specific questions on here that they should be asking. It's very important here that we ask the same if they've been working with an agent, because in here we do get buyer agency agreements signed at times, and that could really put our agents in a pickle, because they could be showing properties, and at the end of the day, the client doesn't the client can choose representation, but the document is going to choose who is going to tell who gets commission. Okay. And to Edwin's point, is a lot of the buildings and the projects, once they've registered, there's really not an opportunity for you to get any compensation. So yes, while it's very important for you to know about those projects, because yes, you will have an opportunity to go register somebody, and you don't want to not answer any questions if your client or potential client may have been registered there, but don't waste your time. And and just know what you're dealing with. Be a professional, ask the questions so that you know where your opportunities are with the client, and not just make assumptions. And that's a lot of what this is not making assumptions. Somebody calls you, to Edwin's point also, the biggest opportunity we miss is the house they have to sell. Even here in the States, people come through an open house, 40% of those people have a house to sell. And what they're doing is they're looking at the person, they're coming to a different area, and they think, oh, this agent is going to be my buyer's agent, and I have to go find my seller's agent where my house is. Well, we have to let them know that we have an amazing professional network, and we will help them find the right agent so that we can work together with that agent and ensure that they have a smooth transaction on both ends. And if there's an opportunity that it is on the same island or same state, that our team can service it. And if it's not you, let's just say it's a $7 million house and you've never walked into a $1 million house and you are nervous. You just say you have an amazing partner that will handle this transaction with you, and you just get the right person on it. That is one piece of business and one piece of advice. Don't be greedy. There are times where we are not the right agent for it, but we can definitely bring it into a referral relationship with one of our agents who are right for it. And it could go either way. It could be that, maybe somebody who's typically selling luxury listings doesn't really know farm and land, or development property, or maybe that one section of the island. And so it can go both ways, but just let's be a professional and make sure that we are able to service our clients like we say we can. And that's the integrity that we talk about with the Y4C2Ts. Have integrity, make it a win-win for everybody. So with the sellers, it says, what's the address of your home? I mean, asking that is very important. And what's prompting your move? Maybe it's something that you need to know about with the house before you go and list it. Are you interviewing other agents? Very important. Have you met with any other agents? And how much do you think your home is worth? So all of these questions will begin to let people open up and share with you, and then you're able to cultivate to then close to the appointment. Now, in closing to the appointment, I'm not sure if we've seen these before. These are the 10 closes. This is another sheet I think every single one of us should have at our desk. When you are pushing to close for the appointment, different personality styles are going to, deal with these closes differently. So the first close is the hard close. Let's meet. You just go in for it. Let's meet. The energy's there. It sounds right. You just go in. Let's meet. The soft close. I've really enjoyed visiting with you. Would you like to get together to discuss this further? Right? When you need to use something like that. Somebody's not super aggressive. You don't want to come off like that. And, You're just a little soft with them. The direct close, can we meet today? Today. If not today, tomorrow, or how's in the morning? I would say that most of us that I've had dealings with here would use some of these very direct closes. And I would also encourage you to just make sure you know who the audience is on the other end receiving it. Because sometimes we could offend with our very direct, salesiness. The indirect, would it be okay if I got you some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss? That puts people a little at ease. The trial close, and I like this one. Have we gone over enough today that meeting should be our next step? Now, that's somebody who really needs to stay in control, maybe a high S behavior, somebody who is not a big risk taker. You're checking in with them, like, have I gone over enough? And they might say, no, actually, you didn't go over da 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 da. Okay, yeah, let's jump on that. So now have I gone over enough? That would make sense. Assumptive close. It sounds like we should meet. I'm available most times in the week. What works best for you? That's usually one of mine. A negative positive. I don't love this one, but would you be offended if I asked you if we could meet to go over this? Now, I have used something like this in a tough situation where I had a guy and he wasn't receiving my messages and where he needed to go, and it needed to be a sit down. We needed to go face to face, but we were already clashing. And that's when I would say, listen, I don't want to offend you. Would you be offended if I ask you, let's sit down and talk about this? Let's get face to face in a room. Let me show you mine. You show me yours, and we're all good. Okay, so different behaviors, different styles. Take back. I love this one too. And you know when to use it on these people. I've really enjoyed visiting with you. And to be honest, I'm not really sure if I can help you or not. And I'd be honored to meet with you to find out. So how about this afternoon? Tie down. Would it make sense for us to meet in the next day or so? And the alternate close, which is what works better for you, meeting today or the afternoon or sometime tomorrow. And you should always have the alternate close ready to go. How do you have the alternate close? You need to have your schedule, and you need to and I work off of my Google Calendar. I first go into a paper calendar, but when you go into your week, one of the best practices you can do is block out and find your open time appointment slots. So if I look at the week, maybe Mondays you don't really have any open slots until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because you're busy following up with everything that you got going on a Monday. But at 2 o'clock, you could take an appointment. And then maybe you go pick your kid up off the bus. And then at 7 o'clock, you have another open appointment. Saturday, you say, I could have one at 10, I could have one at 12, I could have one at 2. And so in the week, when you go into your week, you need to, you know how many appointments you're supposed to have for the week because you did your economic model. Lars and I, we reviewed his economic model, and Lars has to get on 24 listing appointments this year. Lars has to be on 2 seller appointments every single month. If Lars doesn't go on a seller appointment every single week, well, then he's not going to hit his goal. So when he's making his plan for the week, he needs to make a couple of open time slots so that when he's prospecting, he could say, hey, you know what, Mr. Seller, how about Tuesday at 7? Oh, that doesn't work. How about Friday at 12? Or I have Saturday at 2, because he knows that he's got these open appointment slots. When I was team leading and recruiting, I would have 12 open time slots. And I would let you know, do you want Monday at 1 or 3? Or Wednesday at 3, I still have open? Or I still have Thursday at 11. It was 11, 1, or 3. Those were my appointment slots. And that's how I kept organized. So you, as listing agents, buyer agents, control your schedule so that your lead generation time, you're just filling your appointment slots. You want to have those closes to appointment because you're confident of where you're going to put them. And then you're like, okay, I just booked 4 appointments for the week and they're all in slots that I've, all right. So sometimes I find we don't go for the close because we're just, or you get 1 appointment for the week and you think you did awesome. Well, your goal was to have 3. So, okay. rolling into this here, and let's just squeeze this over. Talked about capture, talked about framing the conversations, connecting, cultivating the 6 questions systematically, and then closing. And I do believe that closing is done voice. You're not closing. I mean, yes, you can close through a text message, but I want to hear the voice, and I want to say, listen, it's really important that we meet. And I want to hear the voice that we're going to actually meet. So when people say, oh, I got blown off, well, did they confirm in a text message? Yeah, okay. Everybody who confirms in a text message may or may not show up that day. So you know, just be a little more proactive. Even if they text you, maybe you shoot them a quick call. Hey, I just wanted to make sure you're still good for today. Yeah, okay, great. We'll see you later.
I think that's a very good point. Especially here, because if we have an appointment for the dentist, then they call 2 hours before. Hey, don't forget your appointment.
Yep, absolutely. It's the professional thing to do. If you have, I mean, even my doctor, they'll call on the Monday if the you know, my doctor's appointments during the week just to confirm, oh, you're going to be here Thursday at 12 o'clock, right? Yep. Thank you. So maybe you start to incorporate those things that you think are great customer service experiences in your other, you know, your experiences. This one says, in the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they'll meet. And if they don't, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is, because you're not going to be getting people or doing anything that they don't want to do, right? You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense or it doesn't. Either way, you both win. So asking for the meeting, I just hate to see agents that are not winning only because they're not asking for the order. And so, you know, I kind of talked a little bit about this, improving your conversion rate, time blocking for the lead generation, but then time blocking for the appointments so that you can put them in the appointment slots. You know, just treat it like any other business. You're closing down at 7 p.m. or you're closing down at 9 p.m. or at 3 p.m. And here's the appointment slots that are available for the day. Use systems and conversations. Connect with your whole database. Don't cherry pick. We want to get everybody on those neighborhood nurtures or smart plans that you've created. And then we also want to be posting and happy birthday and texting and calling and inviting them to events. The whole 19 to connect, 36 to convert. And then we're prioritizing qualified leads. Right. So we also, as we connect with our database, you want to add information to your database. Like if you start to call through your database and you realize, oh, you know what, these people are like more of my VIPs than these were, like you just start adding new tags, you shift people around, you create new categories. Your database should not look the same as it did 2 years ago. Even if all the same people are in it, different people have now referred you, different people have done business with you. Okay, and so just going back, the lead conversion model is capture, connect, cultivate, close, and close by asking for the appointment. So let's talk a little bit about some ahas on cultivating the leads that you have, and talk to me about how all that we just said relates to what you're already doing and what you could maybe start to incorporate. And also, I'd love to hear, because you probably do get lots of inbound leads that you never see, meet, right? Coming from different places. How do you deal with those, and who's having great success that we could just share a little bit with the last 15 minutes that we have? Come on, who's cultivating? Who's cultivating? What's working for you? Are you doing any of this?
I
Jerson. Yeah, Jerson.
Lars can talk.
No, you're talking. Because
Okay,
you do, because I was actually going to give an example of you. He's a hard close. Let's meet. I'm like
yeah,
not even on the islands. He's like, let's meet.
okay, yeah. You want to meet with everybody actually and get involved in everybody's business and try to help so much people as much as you can, because that's how people are going to remember you, and try to connect them with solutions actually.
Solutions. Yep. Solution based is very important. You do not want to be the person that just reiterates the problem or commiserates with them. You want to be the person who they go, man, I always go to Jerson because he's always got an answer. He's always got a solution. He's always got a connection. And if he doesn't know, then he'll figure it out with me. And if that's what they're saying about you, that's awesome. And they should be. Every single one of us have that opportunity. What is your best source of staying in touch with your leads? What is your best tactic?
I think now at the moment I'm going more in email, but just WhatsApp, and touching base with calling. I feel like a call center at the moment.
Yes, you are a call center.
Yeah, that's the bad part, because it costs a lot of energy and time. At the end of the day, you're tired,
Yeah.
and you have to give energy to your family, but it's really a call center.
It will be worth it though when somebody actually gets to hear somebody's voice, and it could be just one or two phone calls the whole year that you just feel connected. I mean, think about some people in your lives, everybody. Think about people that you only talk to once a year, twice a year, and that relationship is still solid. You just have a busy life. So if you are sending electronic items of value, if you are posting items of value, if you're throwing a broadcast out once in a while through your WhatsApp to your list that you put, and you all should have a broadcast list on your WhatsApp. If you're doing all of that and then you actually talk to me twice a year, we're good. We are good. It's you guys, we have to reach out. You have to call. You absolutely have to call. Lars, what were you saying? What were you gonna say?
Can
What
I
is
add
your
one thing? The last thing. I
yes,
think
go ahead.
the most important thing what I learned at Callaway was to do video calling. So you don't have to do a Zoom or something, but Edwin told me to do video calling, and it makes a big difference. Because I know a lot of people don't do it, but that makes a big difference, because like we're talking now with you, it's the
Yep.
same.
I agree. I personally felt connected with people. I have an Africa family, and we talk video because if we're texting, I feel disconnected. And like we're in the process of doing a big project over there, and I just, so the video chat makes me feel the relationship. The texting, I could say whatever I want in text, right? The other thing that you guys do well on the island is voice chat. Okay, when I can also hear your voice, and I can hear you, and I can hear your tonality, it makes me connect a little bit more. So definitely, if you're not doing that, I encourage you to do that. Also incorporate video chat. Lars, what about you? What are some of your strategies that are working and connecting with, because you had quite a few closings last year?
Yes. Yeah, the follow-up, of course, very important. I do use a lot of smart plans already, or I made them myself.
Yeah.
So I'm reading this book right now, and they focus on follow-up, follow-through, and follow-back. So first step is follow-up, which is very important, which you can, I think, easily incorporate in a lot of smart plans. And then the follow-through, which is actually maybe even more important. So if you're following up with people and you promise them things, make
Yep.
sure to follow through. So also do what you say and say what you do, and then follow back. Yeah, I think I still have leads in my database that haven't bought, that I met like 2 years ago maybe. But yeah, you never know. They might buy in a year, they might buy in a month, they might buy in a week. You just have to make sure that you have your own way of staying in touch with those people. Yeah, and I think one of the ways to do that is to build your own smart plan, one that works for you. So yeah.
And I love the last one you said, follow back. I would love for everybody that's on here to make it an action that you take, that you go and you get all of your old leads. Anybody that, you know, and no anybody who didn't respond, didn't buy, that you just get all of your old leads and you create an email, you create a message, a blast, a text or something to, and maybe you do it in different ways. You do the text, you do the email, you do the video, you do it all with a message, a tickler about something that's hot that's happening right now. And you're asking them to respond, to get a free whatever. You're asking them to respond to get the brochure on whatever. You're asking them to respond to get the 2023 update on the market stats of Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. What if you guys all put together a beautiful 3-island package of what's going on, and then that's the item of value that you're telling people, if you'd like to receive that, just, you know, just let us know that you're still alive and that you're still interested. And then those people that surface, well, now you got new old leads to breathe life into. Yeah, I don't know.
I got one as well. I don't do it enough, I think, but if I have time, I scroll back a year in my WhatsApp, because actually almost all my contacts are in my WhatsApp. That are the serious clients I have, of course by email as well, but once in a while I scroll back a year and I check the people that I were in contact then, and if I think, oh, I didn't talk to them a long time, then I send them just a very friendly, hey, how are you doing? What's up? And that's actually it. I copy that and I send it to all the people in that month. And I do it, actually, I did it every month, but I didn't do it for a few months now, but it really works. Some people, they won't react, but most people say, hey, nice to hear from you again. And then you start a conversation again, and once in a while, a new lead, a new buyer or seller comes out of it. So yeah, if you stay connected, yeah, I think that's a key to our business, especially for people that are longer in the business. Check your WhatsApp, scroll back a year, maybe 2 years back. You'll see, hey, those people I didn't talk to in a long time. Let me check to them, and there are always leads in your database, in your WhatsApp, always.
Yep, I love it. You got to go shopping in your own database, looking for leads outside, and they're literally in your own database. All right, so anybody want to give me 2 ahas? Well, I'm not getting off until I get 2 ahas. We had some shares on strategies. So Lars and Tertian, they helped there. So we need 2 ahas. Maybe something that you're going to incorporate, maybe something that you didn't realize, something that you were reminded of. An action you're going to take. Go ahead, Sam.
I would say the 2 weeks price suggestion to sign.
Mm.
That's a good idea, because a lot of times they really, especially on Aruba, they really stick to this idea that they're going to get $1 million for something, and they really don't listen to your advice as a professional. So I really have, I have a lot of, I have encountered this issue many times before, and I lose the listing to someone else.
Who's willing to go with their price?
Yeah, I spoke to Lars about it, because it really gets to me. Because I don't know if it's me that I'm not able to present myself as a professional, like convinced that I'm a professional and I know what I'm talking about. Or it's just them. They eventually just go with somebody that will just list it for any price.
Okay.
You know, so I have so I don't know.
We'll work a little bit on that when we get to sellers, some of that confidence building and strength in presenting to the seller. But I love how humble and honest you are, and vulnerable to be able to say it may be me, it may be that I'm not presenting myself as a professional, so that they're believing that they should just go with what I say. Because if you're never able to do that, guys, you're going to have a hard time succeeding in this business, because we have to look at ourselves. What could have we done differently in presenting to this seller that they would have said, you know what, she's right. I'm going to listen to her, or she's right, but I'm still not going to listen to you, but I like that you are right. You know, we'll build that, but it may just be, there is that tactic of giving in and letting them have their way for like just 2 weeks. Because sometimes they do just want to put their price on it, and they will bend if there's the motivation. If they don't have motivation, I probably wouldn't, because then it's an overpriced listing. But if they do have motivation and you measure it, yeah. All right, how about one more aha?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm going to try to work more with the smart plans because seeing the reach that Lars have and how good he is at doing it, I'm trying to incorporate that with my work schedule and everything. So yes, that's what I'm going to do for the next coming weeks.
Thank you. Embracing commands would be the best thing that you can do. Embracing the smart plans to leverage yourself, and creating systems through that. It's you already have it. Thank you so much. I also want to say again, because we have some more people on, I want to congratulate Curacao for having their first closing and breaking ground. KW Curacao, great job, guys. Can't wait to come and visit. And so we'll be back. It's Wednesday, so we'll be back. Not Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be back next Thursday, and we'll be rolling into strengthening relationships. And we're kind of at the tail end. We'll start working with sellers and buyers in the next few classes. All right. If you guys need me, I've had a few of you reach out to me. Please reach out to me if you want to set up like a one-on-one and talk about something specific in your business. Really just here for you guys. So please feel free to do that. You know how to find me. I'm on Facebook and my cell number's out there. And of course you could always ask one of the leaders at your office. But thank you for your time. I'm going to go ahead and post this, and I'll see you guys back here next week. Okay. You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Maribel. Thank you.